your name?
Holmes. Sherlock Holmes.
This is a thoroughly enjoyable film that's well written with good performances and special effects. We see Holmes and Watson after their initial meeting and first crime-solving adventure. Although the last minutes of the film remind you of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, as far as set designs and general action go, it's still an entertaining picture, good enough for the entire family, and it's rated PG-13. The best family picture out, logically, is Santa Claus the Movie. Although the performances are good, the pace is a little slow, and I think the filmmakers were just a little off target when it came to getting across the true meaning of Christmas. But still, this is the one for the kids to see, and it's rated PG.
Take his heart. Hurt him, you take his heart. No pain.
No pain.
No pain.
Take his heart.
Keep working. Keep working.
It's round 4 for Rocky fans. This one is entertaining, but very predictable. There's nothing new here. It's the same formula. Yet Rocky 4 will make tons of money, and it's rated PG.
My mother says, she says, Raymond, don't worry. This is your year. Something good's coming. Something good.
White Nights is a long movie, but I can recommend it just for the dance scenes. Mikhail Baryshnikov and Gregory Hines are quite impressive to watch. The plot gets bogged down at times, though. All I wanted to see is more dancing. White Nights is rated PG-13.
So much about it.
Be my guest. Stop at the caviar.
Caviar.
Based on Alice Walker's Pulitzer Prize-winning novel, The Color Purple is a moving and powerful film. It's been quite a while since a movie has affected me this way. The Color Purple is directed by Steven Spielberg, and if he and many of the other cast members do not receive Academy Award nominations, something is seriously wrong. Leading a brilliant cast is Whoopi Goldberg, who plays the central character Celie. We watch her grow from being a contemporary slave in the 20th century to being a complete and completed person. The film itself is about personal and emotional growth. It's about struggling to survive and overcome circumstances that may appear to be unbearable. It's the kind of movie that will make you laugh and cry. And when you leave the theater, you'll have a wonderful feeling about life. The Color Purple is rated PG-13, and I'm giving it a 9.9. Out of Africa, starring Robert Redford and Meryl Streep, is a beautiful and well-acted film. But as good as this picture is, at times you begin to feel the film's length, because Out of Africa is 2 hours and 41, approximately 42 minutes. The film is based on Danish writer Isak Dinneson's novel about her experiences in Kenya. Set in the early 20th century, the story revolves around her love affair with an adventurer. Out of Africa not only explores their love affair, but the different cultures of that time. Out of Africa is rated PG, and I'm giving it an 8. And if it's music and dancing you want, A Chorus Line has them both. Sir Richard Attenborough brings to the screen Broadway's longest-running and most honored musical. A Chorus Line is rated PG-13, and it also gets an 8. One movie that's fun, although it doesn't completely work, is Clue. It's based on the popular board game, and the film does provide some very funny moments. Whoops, here they come now. And the entire cast is quite good. Clue is rated PG, and I give it a 7. I can also recommend Jewel of the Nile. It's not as good as its predecessor, Romancing the Stone, but it's still fun. White Nights is also good, although the pace is a little slow at times. Rocky 4, well, as I said a few weeks ago, it's making tons of money, and if you liked Rocky 1, 2, or 3, go ahead and try this one too. That's it for now. I'll see you next Thursday night. I'm Dino Lally. Still topping my list of movies to see is The Color Purple. This is a wonderful movie directed by Steven Spielberg, and there is an incredible cast that is unbelievable. It's based on Alice Walker's Pulitzer Prize-winning novel. The Color Purple is a poignant and powerful film about one family in the South of the early 20th century. We see their struggles, their joys, their battle to fight tradition. A more moving picture will be difficult to find for a long, long time. Whoopi Goldberg and Danny Glover head up this fantastic cast. They portray husband and wife. Goldberg is a repressed woman who has to do what she's told. The Color Purple has Academy Award written all over it. This is a tremendous movie, and it's rated PG-13. I'm giving it a 9.9. Clue is a sporadically funny movie that tries hard to work but doesn't completely. There are some very funny scenes, and the cast members are enjoyable.
Blackmail, how many husbands have you had?
Mine or other women's?
Yours?
5.
5?
Yes, just the 5. Husband should be like Kleenex, soft, strong, and disposable.
Clue is rated PG, and it gets a 7. Out of Africa is a long film at 2 hours, 43 minutes, somewhere in there. You do begin to squirm a little bit at times, but it is a beautifully photographed and extremely well-acted love story starring Robert Redford and Meryl Streep. It's rated PG, and I'm giving it an 8. White Nights is a somewhat enjoyable film starring Gregory Hines and Mikhail Baryshnikov. It's worth seeing again just for the dancing. Baryshnikov portrays a Russian ballet dancer whose jet accidentally crashes in Siberia. Hines is an American living there. He was a deserter in Vietnam. They start by hating each other. They do end up helping each other. Fine music goes along with this production. White Nights is rated PG-13, and it gets a 7. Spies Like Us with Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd, well, I can recommend it only if you're fans of those two comic actors. Jewel of the Nile is fun. I would give it about a 7. Young Sherlock Holmes is a fun picture. I think the entire family can enjoy it together. And if Back to the Future is still playing, I can highly recommend it. I'm Dino Lawley. That's it. If you're looking for some mindless entertainment, the kind of movie where you don't have to do that much thinking, try Jewel of the Nile. This sequel to the very successful Romancing the Stone is fun, although not as much as its predecessor, and it doesn't completely work. The 3 main characters are back, though: Michael Douglas, Kathleen Turner, and Danny DeVito, with DeVito getting the best and funniest lines.
Go ahead. Give me a reason. Make my year. Hey, go easy with the gun, all right, buddy?
Our 3 are off on another adventure for, you guessed it, the Jewel of the Nile. The film does drag a bit in spots, but it's still enjoyable. The Jewel of the Nile is rated PG, and I'm giving it a 7. Enemy Mine is an unusual story. The film stars Lou Gossett Jr. and Dennis Quaid. Now, the two play what you could call futuristic dogfighters, and the film takes place in the 21st century. They both crash on the same hostile planet, and to survive, they must learn how to get along with each other. Now, if you're expecting a sci-fi action film with lots of special effects, you could be disappointed. The performances in Enemy Mine are good, though, and it's a nice story overall. Enemy Mine is rated PG-13, and I'm giving it a 7. A Chorus Line is a very good film if you're in the mood for some lively singing and dancing. Based on the Pulitzer Prize-winning Broadway musical, A Chorus Line has an impressive ensemble cast, and director Sir Richard Attenborough has done a wonderful job of creating a visually exciting film. A Chorus Line is rated PG-13, and it gets an 8. Now, I've had several people ask me, is The Color Purple really as good as I said it was a few weeks ago? Well, it is my opinion, but yes, I think without a doubt, The Color Purple is one of the best films I've seen in years. I can't think of enough words to describe how wonderfully moving and poignant this movie is. It's about human strength and faith in love. Now, it's rated PG-13, and I'm giving it a 10. I can also recommend Twice in a Lifetime. It stars Gene Hackman, Ellen Burstyn, and Anne Margaret. Also, Out of Africa, starring Robert Redford and Meryl Streep. It's a long movie, but very good. And also, Young Sherlock Holmes is very entertaining. That's it for now. I'll see you next Thursday night. I'm Dino Lawley. There's one film playing in theaters right now that deals with the subject matter of divorce. You might say, I really don't want to see a movie about divorce. Well, Twice in a Lifetime deals with the subject matter effectively. And if anything positive can come out of a divorce, this movie examines those possibilities. The film stars Gene Hackman, Ellen Burstyn, and Anne Margaret. Hackman and Burstyn are married, but their marriage appears to become mundane. One night, without consciously looking to have an affair, Hackman meets Anne Margaret. She works in the local bar. They have an affair, and then we see the effects of the affair on everyone, both positive and negative repercussions.
Well, I sure as hell know who my wife is, yes.
I'd sure in hell like to know who this is.
Well, that's Miss Manelli, in case you're interested and it's any of your business, which of course it's not.
Which I'm here to tell you it is.
Harry, we want you to come home and stop this.
Twice in a Lifetime has very impressive performances from the cast members, particularly from Gene Hackman, Ellen Burstyn, and Anne Margaret. My biggest complaint about Twice in a Lifetime is there are moments when it's a little bit too much like a TV soap opera, but I think that can be attributed to the fact that the movie's director is Bud Yorkin. He was one of the creators of All in the Family. Now, Twice in a Lifetime is rated R, and I'm giving it an 8. If you want a comedy, you have Jewel of the Nile. One comedy I cannot recommend is Head Office. The writing, the directing, the performances, everything is just, you don't want to see it. You still have time to see Back to the Future. A Chorus Line is fun. Young Sherlock Holmes. A film called American Flyers is very good. You can't go wrong with 101 Dalmatians and a film called One Magic Christmas, although the holidays passed. And again, I can highly recommend The Color Purple. That's it for now. I'll see you next Thursday night. I'm Dino Lawley. In Places in the Heart, Sally Field played a widow fighting to overcome what appeared to be insurmountable odds.
Now you listen to me. If we lose this place, then you're going back to begging for every single meal. Mr. Will, they're going to put you in the state home, and I'm going to lose what's left of my family. I'm not going to let that happen. I don't care what it takes.
Field's latest film is Murphy's Romance. In it, she is once again fighting to survive, to make a fresh start in life. She plays Emma Moriarty, a divorced woman with a great deal of determination. Both Places in the Heart and Murphy's Romance were filmed on location, a way of working she prefers over shooting a movie on a studio lot.
It is easier being on a location, the actual location, doing a film, even though I miss my family terribly. It's horrible, it's painful, but when you're at home, you go off and work during the day, and then you come home, and then you have forced to be your normal self. You know, Mom, do this and that, you know, and fix the plumbing and do the normal everyday things.
Right.
And it's hard to stay focused on your work. When you go away on location, all you do, so all anybody does is the work.
What's wrong?
I need a loan, and I can't get one. Hey, you're a big man in this town, aren't you?
Well, I have to pay my parking tickets.
How'd you like to loan me some money?
No,
Oh, well, that was real friendly.
we're not friends.
James Garner portrays Murphy Jones, an easygoing, live and let live kind of man who is well known in this small Arizona town. But when he meets Emma Moriarty, their relationship blossoms very slowly and unexpectedly. I asked Sally Field what it was like to work with James Garner.
He's just the best. You know, working with Jim Garner really is what's on the screen, honestly. And I say that in all conceit, she says, gloating. My character falls in love with Jim, slowly, very, very slowly. I really didn't have to act. I just had to look at him, and whatever happened to me is what you saw.
Murphy's Romance opens locally January the 31st. I'm Dino Lawley. Enemy Mine is a story of conflict and friendship set against the backdrop of a hostile planet, Firing 4, which is perpetually bombarded by meteor showers and inhabited by deadly creatures like the Predator.
Get out of here!
The interesting thing about Enemy Mine is that you have the chance, or I have the chance, to create a new planet, never seen before, a dead planet, somewhere in the galaxy. We have our own thoughts about our own sky. Our clouds are not clouds like Earth. We try to find some other clouds. There are heavy storms and rain showers are pouring. Basically, it's a crater planet.
Action. Look of Firing 4 is based on the volcanic terrain of Lanzarote, an island 500 miles off the coast of northwest Africa. But even the unearth-like landscape had to be altered by the special effects team.
This movie does not have a blue sky and nice white clouds and pretty little peasant cottages off in the distance. But it does have volcanoes, and with our special effects camera here, we will black out the sky and the distant landscape and replace that with a painted alien sky and alien landscape.
In order to recreate the Lanzarote location on the set back in Germany, over 20 tons of lava rock were shipped to the Bavarian studios in Munich, where 9 sound stages were utilized to create Firing 4. In this stage, the largest in continental Europe, overhead pipes can rain 1,100 tons of water. Pipes beneath this crater lake can send up propane gas for fires which are ignited by huge matchsticks and extinguished at the turn of a knob. Very large-scale models and model sets were built to enhance detail and believability. And you can see the final result of all the special effects on film in Enemy Mine. I'm Dino Lally.
English, toad face. I don't love you and you don't love me. We're stranded here, you understand?
He's still here?
Yes, I am. I'm here to give you a few suggestions for weekend movie viewing. Now, out of the pictures being released tomorrow, there are more comedies than dramas. But the first film I'm recommending tonight is kind of an in-between movie. It's called Murphy's Romance, and it's an easygoing, pleasant film to watch. James Garner and Sally Field star in this contemporary romantic comedy. Field is a divorcee trying to make a new start in life for herself and 12-year-old son. James Garner is the eccentric pharmacist in this small Arizona town, and the relationship grows very slowly and unexpectedly. Garner walks away with this movie, and again, Murphy's Romance is a very nice, pleasant film. It's rated PG-13. I'm giving it an 8. Youngblood is a combination of Rocky and All the Right Moves on ice. Rob Lowe portrays a 17-year-old kid who wants to play in the National Hockey League. There's some fine hockey action in Youngblood, decent performances, but the film lacks direction, and parts of it are rather corny, in fact. But the young ladies will ooh and ah at Rob Lowe and Patrick Swayze. This is a rather violent movie, and in that respect captures the world of hockey quite well. This is just an okay movie, and it's rated R. I'm giving it a 6. One very funny movie is Down and Out in Beverly Hills. There's a big-time cast. You have Richard Dreyfuss, Bette Midler, and Nick Nolte. Everyone gives a very good performance. It's based on a French comedy, and Nick Nolte plays a bum who tries to commit suicide in a backyard Beverly Hills pool. It happens to be where Richard Dreyfuss and Bette Midler live. They're obviously a very rich couple who are really into the Beverly Hills lifestyle. And Paul Mazursky's script lampoons that lifestyle hilariously. Down and Out in Beverly Hills is rated R, and I'm giving it an 8. Another very funny movie is The Best of Times, starring Robin Williams and Kurt Russell. I'm sorry, but by airtime tonight, I still had not received my film clips from Universal Pictures, or I would be showing you some of the movie. I'll just say it's very funny. I'm giving it a 9, and it's rated PG-13. That's it for now. I'll see you next week. I'm Dino Lally. Okay, on to the... First of all, let's get the films that I don't particularly like out of the way. Iron Eagle. The only redeeming element in this film is Lou Gossett Jr. The premise is ludicrous as far as reality goes. Now, Jason Gedrick tries to rescue his father, who's been shot down in a small Arabic country. He enlists the help of Lou Gossett Jr. for this highly unlikely mission. None of the characters are closely examined, and the flying sequences for today's technology are not that impressive. But most of all, the filmmakers are asking us to accept too many unanswered questions. For example, a 17, 18-year-old kid and an Air Force Reserve guy just sort of rip off two F-16s and fly off to a foreign country for a rescue mission. Maybe not. I'm giving Iron Eagle a 4. The Longshot, starring Tim Conway and Harvey Korman, has its moments, but overall this is a relatively weak comedy. The Longshot is about horse racing, and although the performances are funny in part, the entire picture doesn't hold together. I'm giving it a 5. For a much better comedy, I highly recommend The Best of Times, starring Robin Williams and Kurt Russell. They're old high school football buddies. Now, Russell played quarterback in high school. Robin Williams was the receiver. In their senior year, Williams drops what would have been the game-winning pass. 12 years later, after the game, the small town still does not let him forget that fact. So all the old players get together to replay the game. Now, The Best of Times is extremely entertaining. It's rated PG-13. I'm giving it a 9. Another funny movie is Down and Out in Beverly Hills. Nick Nolte plays a down-and-out bum who is taken in by Richard Dreyfuss and Bette Midler. They're a rich Beverly Hills couple with 2 strange kids. Very funny performances dominate the film, along with Paul Mazursky's lampooning script. Down and Out in Beverly Hills is rated R, and I'm giving it an 8. I can also recommend still The Color Purple, Murphy's Romance, Young Sherlock Holmes, Twice in a Lifetime, Out of Africa, and Runaway Train. Now, this is a very violent film, but Jon Voight gives a great performance. I hope you have a nice weekend, and I'll be back next Thursday night. I'm Dino Lally. Goldie Hawn's latest project is called Wildcats. It's predictable, corny, but fun. She plays the football coach of a last-place team. These are the kind of players who also have parole officers. The language is rough in the movie, yet Goldie Hawn proves again she is one of the most watchable comedians to appear on screen today. There's a strong underlying dramatic story which accompanies the football tale, and it concerns Hawn and her ex-husband, played very well by James Keach. Wildcats is good for a 1st and 10. It's entertaining. It's rated R for good reason, and I'm giving it a 7. Another movie dealing with a football theme is The Best of Times, starring Robin Williams and Kurt Russell. This is very funny, although it does drag a bit in places, but still, Williams and Russell make a good team. All the supporting players are enjoyable. The Best of Times is rated PG-13. I'm giving it an 8. FX is extremely interesting and well worth your time. A movie special effects expert, played by Brian Brown, is hired by the Justice Department to stage the fake assassination of a mafia kingpin. But all of a sudden, Brown finds himself in the middle of a double cross. There's good action, humor, and suspense. FX is rated R, and it gets a 7. Four new films are opening tomorrow. One is from Woody Allen. It's called Hannah and Her Sisters. Then from the maker of The Breakfast Club comes a film called Pretty in Pink. You have a horror movie called House, and then one called The Trip to Bountiful. It's there you can see the performance which won Geraldine Page an Oscar nomination for Best Actress. Still topping my list of movies to see is FX. A special effects expert is hired by the Justice Department to fake the assassination of a mafia kingpin, but they try to double-cross him. Brian Brown is very good in the picture. There's lots of action and suspense. Portions of the movie are predictable, but overall FX is entertaining. FX is rated R, and I'm giving it a 7. Murphy's Romance is a very easygoing, pleasant film to watch. It stars Sally Field and James Garner. Garner, of course, is up for an Academy Award for his performance in the Best Actor category, and he steals the picture. Sally Field plays a young woman recently divorced with a son trying to make a new start in life. In a small town in Arizona, she meets the eccentric owner of the pharmacy, played very well by James Garner. Theirs is a slow-building relationship, but Murphy's Romance is an easy film to watch. It's rated PG-13. I'm giving it a 9. For comedies, I'm still recommending Down and Out in Beverly Hills and The Best of Times starring Robin Williams. Now, for a good drama, I highly recommend the film called Witness. If you have not had a chance to see it, please do. It stars Harrison Ford. He is up for an Academy Award nomination, by the way, for Best Actor. It's a very, very good film. I cannot recommend the film called Quicksilver, and I'm not all that crazy about one called Youngblood, and it stars Rob Lowe. That's it for now. I'll see you next Thursday night. I'm Dino Lawley.
I am in love with you.
Oh, don't say those words.
I'm sorry, I know, it's terrible.
Hannah and Her Sisters features an impressive ensemble cast, which includes Mia Farrow, Michael Caine, Carrie Fisher, Max von Sydow, and many others, and of course, Woody Allen. The subject matters which are in the film are also numerous. There are themes about life, death, love, lust, adultery, family relations, religion, art, comedy, music, and a couple of others. The humor comes from the human condition, as we find the characters in desperate situations. Woody Allen has done it again. Hannah and Her Sisters is rated PG-13, and I'm giving it a 9. Wildcats, starring Goldie Hawn, is funny, but do be warned, the language is rough in the picture. Goldie Hawn plays the coach to a last-place team. The film is predictable, at times corny, but still fun. Wildcats is rated R, and it gets a 7.
What do you want to hear?
Just tell me!
What?
You're ashamed to be seen with
No,
me!
I am.
And from the filmmaker who gave us The Breakfast Club and 16 Candles, John Hughes, comes Pretty in Pink, starring Molly Ringwald and Andrew McCarthy. John Hughes once again gives us his keen insight into today's youth. Pretty in Pink is a melodrama about a girl from the wrong side of the tracks and a rich kid played by McCarthy. The performances are very good, and although the film is not without its problems, Hughes has tapped into the pressures of high school life very accurately. Pretty in Pink is rated PG-13, and it also gets a 7. One of the films opening this weekend is called Crossroads. It stars Ralph Macchio from Karate Kid fame and Joe Seneca. I recently interviewed Macchio in Los Angeles. Although he just completed the filming of Karate Kid Part 2, he is concerned with being typecast with that character. He told me that's one of the reasons he took the role of Eugene Martone in Crossroads.
I wanted to grow up a little bit from the Karate Kid character and be a little more independent and set on my goals in life. And you know, Eugene is in Crossroads is very set on what he wants to do, where he wants to go. He's destined to get there, and so I wanted to make sure to do that.
In short, Crossroads is about a young man's search for a song and an old man's search for his soul. Joe Seneca plays Willie Brown, also known as Blind Dog Fulton, an aging blues man. Together, Seneca and Macchio work toward their own goal. Crossroads is a good film, yet slow in parts. Walter Hill's direction is stylish, yet discreet. The supporting players are credible, and Macchio is believable. Yet Joe Seneca steals the picture. The best element, though, in the film is the music. If you enjoy blues, then this is the one to see. Crossroads is rated R, and I'm giving it an 8. Michael Keaton is starring in a new movie called Gung-ho. The movie is funny. I mean, it has its moments. But the Michael Keaton smart-aleck kind of guy role he did so well in Night Shift and Mr. Mom is Growing Old. The premise has Keaton as a foreman of a defunct auto plant. He has chosen to try and salvage the auto plant in his hometown by calling upon a Japanese auto firm to take over and regenerate the factory. Gung-ho is good for a few laughs, but it is much too long for this kind of movie. It should have been shortened by 20 minutes or so. It really ran out of steam in the end. Gung-ho is rated R, and it gets a 6. Now don't forget FX, it's a good movie. Pretty in Pink is fair, I'd give it about a 7. And Woody Allen's Hannah and Her Sisters is very entertaining. That's it for now. I'll see you next week. I'm Dino Lawley.